Hello, Maddie from Hello Interloper here with the latest in Blood Brothers news. Although, of course, I am a little late because I was on vacation and doing a few other things. But, yeah, better late than never, of course. Today we'll be going over the God of Steel PvP event 12. And at first, I'm going to be going over just the regular stuff, the way this works, the different, prizes given out, and whatnot. And then I'm going to be giving a bit of an opinion on the recent happenings because I'd rather deliver the information first and then tell you guys how I feel about it. So that way, people who are just here for the info don't have to listen to me ramble and rant about things. So, the event PvP battle, nothing has changed since last time, which is a relief. It's good to see that they like this format and are not switching things up and we have to be all confused. So, the only thing that has really changed within this event has been the introduction of Mythic familiars, which is a new step above Legendary. So, I'll be going over these different prizes and showing you guys stuff about the event log and event and whatnot. But first things first, let's go over the rewards for this event. The top 30 will be getting the new Mythic, of course, with ranks 1 to 10 getting 2. So, of course, there will be, well, if you do 20, and then, I can't math right now. 20 and 20, basically, it'll be 40. But anyway, there we go. Opening it up. This is the Mythic, and Mythics can be, at the moment at least, evolved twice. So, this is the new guy. His name is Ymir Primordial Giant, although he kind of looks more like a Yeti to me. That's just me. But he seems to have some kind of strange lightning bolt thing strapped to his belt here. And pretty crazy here. And let's look at his evolution. And it kind of looks like he gets a little clown-like, honestly, with the crazy red gums and white face. But I don't know. I don't find him too intimidating. That's just me. And he kind of has like weird spikes, kind of like Managarmr. But interesting nonetheless. A lot of shininess, probably having to do with the fact that he's mythic and supposed to be a new level of craziness. But as you see, the stats are pretty good. They are higher than the average legendary, seeing that we have 3 stats that surpass 20,000. Not very good on the defense or agility, but has good wisdom to protect from magical attacks. Very high attack, 24k, although it's not the highest, of course. And high HP, which probably will make up for the low defense, give it more durability. And it has a new skill called Muscle Play, which deals massive attack-based damage to 3 foes. So it's 150 attack multiplier, so that kind of makes it very similar to Brawl. If I look up Brawl is a 100% attack multiplier and attacks 3 foes. So really the only difference is that 50% attack boost. It's nothing really special, nothing impressive with special effects or anything. But it's interesting nonetheless to see that there's a new improved version of Brawl. So that's basically all you really need to know about him. At the moment he is non-tradable because of course it's not over yet, the event. And Mythic, I'm sure we're probably going to see Mythics now from every event on. Let's go back to the event. Let's look at the other guys, because of course there are legendaries and rares still being given out. So this is a legendary person, and honestly, she looks a lot like that, I believe it was Repay. Was that the skill? Let me just quickly look this up, because she looks very similar. No, not Repay. It was something else. But she was given out earlier. Of course, she had brown hair. She kind of looks like that. But of course, in a giant brass machine tank thing. So the name is Rovin, or Rovin, the Brass Panzer. And she has an ability called Mecha Rush. But first, let's look at her evolved form. She looks a lot scarier because she's got what appears to be 2 AKs. Not AKs, what are they called? RPGs! Wow. Brain fart today. But of course, giant spikes and a giant Gatling gun and all that good stuff. And she kind of looks very steampunkish, which of course kind of goes with the whole dwarven thing. But of course, you can see the big contrast between legendary stats and mythic stats here. Nothing surpasses 20k. Got pretty high attack, defense, okay HP, low wisdom and agility. And the skill Mecha Rush deals massive attack base damage to all foes in the rear line. Whether or not this is going to be a sweeping attack or AoE, there actually seems to be a difference. We have yet to see. It ignores position, which is going to be pretty interesting, and it's an attack modifier of 180%. So it's going to be pretty devastating to the rear line. Going to be quite interesting to see what kind of damage this legendary will be able to do in a battle situation. So that is the legendary. Let's go over the rare. Now, the rare, this is a little bit interesting. We see here that rather than the top, I believe 35,000 used to get a rare in the event PvP battle, it's been reduced to 1,700. Sorry. I'm telling you, I can't math today. Can't do math. 17,550. The top. Yeah, gets this rare. And it's kind of interesting because we see the Mythic is a primordial giant, but the legendary and the rare are both dwarves. So also you can get one if you reach 1,800,000 points. Actually, I was able to read that off correctly. So this guy is Regan the Clockwork Arm, who honestly looks pretty darn similar to a previous dwarf. Maybe we're just seeing a lot of dwarves and I'm being mistaken, but looks pretty similar to something I've seen before. Anyway, so this dude, he's decked out with a lot of guns. As you can see, he has kind of robotic arms, so he's got a little pistol-like thing here, and then gun there, and creepy Reachy hand, and a giant Gatling gun. So he's pretty much outfitted with a bunch of stuff, and also, if push comes to shove, he can just stab you with his little knees here. Although, I guess it would be stabbing your ankles, because dwarves are small. But anyway, he's got rather interesting stats because he has pretty high wisdom for rare, low agility, average defense and attack, and a little bit lower on the HP side. But interesting because it has Fire Cell Roar, which we have seen before. It deals fire damage to 3 random foes and sometimes lowers attack. It's a 30% chance to go off. And then the debuff is a 20% debuff of the caster's wisdom, and it's a 150% wisdom multiplier for the damage. Kind of complicated, but we've seen this before in Astaroth, and I believe we've seen something else. Melusine had it. Yeah, I knew I've seen that before somewhere else. So Fire Cell Roar isn't exactly new, but good to see that they're not just making tons of new abilities just to confuse us, because honestly, it's been an onslaught pretty much of new abilities, and it's hard to keep track of all of them, especially because so many are very similar. I mean, just look at Ymir Primordial Giant's ability is very similar to Brawl, other than the fact that it's a fancier version of Brawl. It does more damage. So, yeah, we have a reduced pool for those receiving rares, but it's a little bit upsetting because if you go down here, if you do get below 17,550, you get 6 silver coins and 1 crystal set, which is really nothing. So you better get a better rank, you know, if you want to get something useful. You actually get a rare that you can sell off on the bazaar. And you start getting scarlet coins once you get into the top 3,750. So that's pretty nice, although it's very strange because it's 1 scarlet coin pretty much all the way up until you get into above 91st place. You get 2 scarlet coins. So they're kind of being a little stingy on the scarlet coins, I feel at least. I'm not really sure if it has been any different than before, but that's just me. Anyway, there is a daily login bonus. It seems to be just a regular thing. With every new event, there is an event login bonus sort of thing, which is great because it definitely encourages you to sign in more. Dried Sage times 3s for the day 1, then 10 silver coins, 3 bugles for day 3, Mandrake Leaf for day 4, and then Hathor the Doting for day 5. Of course, Hathor the Doting has been given out for quite a few events, so you probably have built one up by now, unless, actually, are they sellable at the moment? They're non-tradable at the moment, which is a bit of a bummer, but I guess if you wanted to build one up, you can do it by just playing every event and logging in. So now for my little opinion piece on what's going on with Blood Brothers. Honestly, now this is just me. I don't want anybody to get offended by this because I know sometimes I get a quite bit of amount of inflamed comments saying that you don't know what you're talking about, you're stupid, blah blah blah. Okay, listen, I understand you might disagree with my opinions. You know, you have a right to. My personal opinion, though, is that Blood Brothers is on a downward spiral. And don't worry, I do have evidence to back it up. First of all, Mythics. Now, honestly, I don't know who thinks this was a good idea. I think it's a terrible idea because at the moment, legendaries can only be evolved 2 stars. So you need 2 legendaries to pretty much max it out. Now, why they would release mythics before adding, 3-star legendaries and 4-star legendaries is really a mystery to me. But by introducing mythics, making legendaries a lot more accessible to people, pretty much you're raising the bar. Everybody needs to up their group, and legendaries will just fall in price probably because now there are going to be more of them in the game economy. People are going to suddenly have their groups outdated, especially if they do not pay. And also, really, do we need another level? I just don't think so. I think they should have released 3-star and 4-star before even touching mythics. And it's very weird though, right off the bat, mythics can have 2 stars. It's very weird because when legendaries were still well, when they were first introduced, there was only 1-star legendaries, which was fine. We add a new level and they're really, really, really hard to get. But now 2-star mythics, you'll have a 1-star mythic and then you're probably gonna go crazy wanting to get a second one, and it just causes such a bad in-game imbalance, and it's just kind of sad to see that they're really grasping at straws to keep their user base playing. They have the event login bonus for a reason, so you log in. And honestly, I have a feeling that right now they're grasping at straws to try to save their user base. Now, the reason why I'm saying they're grasping at straws is because it's obvious that people are dropping out of this game. Not only has it fallen drastically on at least the iOS paid app, not billboard, scale, what is it called? List. I don't know. But either way, it used to be ranked as one of the top 10 games with amount of money made, and now it's somewhere down in, I guess, the 90s. I looked it up. Honestly, it's kind of scary because Defender of Texel is doing better. And don't even get me started on Rage of Bahamut. That used to be the #1 game, and it's fallen to the pits. It's just bad. But, it's really sad that we see another Mobbage, whatever you say it, Mobadage, for all I know, it could be said like that. I don't really pay attention. I really don't care, because I don't really say these words outside of my videos. But either way, sad to see another game fall apart. And honestly, I think it started falling apart. Now, of course, you can disagree with me. I think it started falling apart when they took away bugles as a trading device. Because honestly, we used to be able to trade for bugles. All was great. Gjallarhorns had so much worth to them because, they were actually paid. And, it was better to have them. You kind of keep them for the big deals. And it's just kind of sad to see now that we can't trade bugles because, God forbid, some people were getting tons of bugles because they weren't paid players and that means less money. But of course, you gotta keep in mind, just because you take away some free way and expect people to spend money doesn't mean they're gonna spend money. Most people are gonna say, well, to hell with that, I'm not gonna spend money on a game. But, honestly, at this point, the game is falling apart. The bazaar has completely gone crazy with prices. I mean, there used to be a time where a new rare would go up for an event and automatically be 10 Gjallarhorns, and now it's nowhere near that. You can't even sell a bad beginner rare for even 1 Gjallarhorn. That's how bad it is. You can't even sell it for a Mandrake. That's how bad it is. I mean, the bazaar has pretty much fallen apart. And then here we have more evidence of the fact that there are less players because back even a few months ago, the top 40,000 for certain events and top 35, I believe, for God of Steel, used to actually get the rare. And now we're seeing it pretty much cut in half. So obviously there aren't enough players to, make this kind of ranking competition here. If they were probably to do the top 40,000 people who only play for one day during the event would probably be able to get the rare. They have to reduce the amount here of it going out into the economy, so people are actually competitive and spending time to get the rare. So honestly, I think that if Blood Brothers keeps going along on this path, they're not going to last very long. And I guess this is kind of the reason why I have kind of jumped ship here and gone to Defender of Texel, just because Defender of Texel, I mean, there's so many rares and epics and stuff that just all kind of have different utilities. I mean, there are a lot of people who try to find the best of the best to try to make the perfect team and whatnot, but the fact that your team consists of 9 different guys and there's so many useful things, and you have different types. I mean, you've got the rogues, which are fast but weak. You have the gurus, which do a lot of magic damage and are fast but weak. And then you have the champs, which have a lot of HP, but pretty susceptible to rogue attacks and stuff. I mean, you got all these types counteracting each other, so no type is exactly super duper good. I mean, people say, oh, you got a whole rogue team, you're super duper fast, and you can just kill everybody. Well, I usually have a champ team, and I can endure your attack and then kick your ass. So, there's different utilities. Everything is useful, and here, just unfortunately, Blood Brothers, things just keep getting outdated. And it's just to the point where, you have to update your team so often, and then something that you spent, 100 Gjallarhorns building up, you try selling it later, and it's only for 20, and you feel like an idiot. Why did I ever build that up if I'm going to sell it for 20 and not be able to build something else up? And, Anyway, that's at least my opinion on this. I really think Blood Brothers needs to calm down and kind of bring a new use to old rares. Maybe you could sell off your old rares for something better than gold. Maybe gold could actually be used for something. I mean, Defender of Texel, you get Texi, which is basically the same thing as gold, and you can exchange it for the equivalent of mandrakes. I mean, why haven't they introduced something like that? Of course, we do have a weird mystery utility here called Merge EXP, which they did release in July, and we have not seen anything happen with this. All we know is that there's a strange blue sanguine shade sort of thing, and that's all we know. They have not released anything about this, and it's kind of a mystery. So maybe, just maybe, this has something to do with gold, and we'll see a utility for gold. Maybe you'll balance out the game a little more, because I have like 2 million gold or something, and nothing to do with it. So, yeah. So, thanks for listening to my rant. I mean, if you disagree with me, I'm fine listening to comments. I probably won't be able to, respond to them directly. I get so many comments and messages that I just don't even check them anymore. I just scan through them, and if anything is really, really important, I'll respond to it, but I just get flooded, so if I don't respond, I'm sorry. But honestly, I think Blood Brothers is on its way down, and that makes me really sad, because I used to really enjoy this game. I mean, I used to really enjoy Rage of Bahamut, too. I mean, seeing games turn into this is really sad, but, at the end of the day, it's all about greed. And unfortunately, DeNA is a very greedy company, and it's just a little sad to see another one looking like it's about to bite the dust. But anyway, that's all for Blood Brothers, and hopefully I'll be able to make a video in time for the next event. This event ends on August 30th, so in about 3 days. So if you're doing pretty well, keep going, and who knows, maybe you'll be able to get a legendary, because it's a lot easier to get a legendary now. And down the road, it will be a lot easier. So, yeah, plan out some improvements to your team if that's what you so please to do, and good luck.